The Dallas Cowboys just suspended Ezekiel Elliott for one game, y'all. I can't believe I just said that sentence. The Dallas Cowboys just suspended Ezekiel Elliott, the object of all of Jerry Jones's affections. I don't know what Zeke could have possibly done to make Jerry Jones sign off on something like this, but for someone that was brought back to Dallas to initially be a positive veteran influence on the running back locker room in the first place, this ain't looking good, y'all. This ain't looking good. And I would call it a huge loss, but let's be real. Our run game been ass anyway. So if anything, this is just going to open up the lane and see what it looked like without Ezekiel back there, bro. I'm just keeping it a buck. Let's get right into this because as of right now, no one knows what's happening. I got a couple of theories we're going to spitball here, but this is actually kind of wild. Running back Ezekiel Elliott is inactive for disciplinary reasons and not traveling with the Dallas Cowboys to Atlanta, per Clarence Hill of DLLSports.com. Push has come to shove for running back Ezekiel Elliott and the Dallas Cowboys over his confounding role with the team. Elliott was left behind by the team ahead of Sunday's game against the Atlanta Falcons for disciplinary reasons, per a source. The two-time NFL rushing champ will be a healthy inactive for the first time in his career. According to the source, things have been building for a while with Ezekiel Elliott, who returned to the Cowboys in 2024, one season after the franchise's third all-time leading rusher was cut because of his high salary and declining production. After opening the season as the starter, Elliott played behind Rico Dowdle for the next 5 games. And when the team decided to elevate Dalvin Cook from the practice squad ahead of last Sunday's 30-24 loss to the San Francisco 49ers, Elliott was scheduled to be the third running back behind Dowdle and Cook, which is very interesting because Elliott ended up being the starter. So somehow, because Rico Dowdle got injured or he was sick, somehow Zeke goes from being scheduled to be the third running back to, instead of going to the second back, he's the first back. That is just, what is going on with this Ezekiel Elliott saga? The team planned to have all 3 runners active against the Falcons until Saturday's move to leave a disgruntled Elliott behind. Elliott has 48 carries for 149 yards and 2 touchdowns this season. His 3.1 average yards per carry is a career low. Dowdle leads the Cowboys in rushing with 59 carries for 249 yards. The Cowboys have the worst rushing attack in the NFL. They are 32nd in yards per game, and rushing touchdowns, which means us losing Zeke like this isn't honestly anything that's going to break the camel's back, but it is an interesting point of discussion because, again, Ezekiel Elliott was brought to essentially be more of a veteran presence and a stabilizing force more than anything in that Cowboys running back room. And by all accounts, it seems like he's been more of a disruptor to that running back room more than anything and kind of pushing back against the decisions the coaches are wanting to make. The coaches are the ones that wanted to play Rico Dowdle a little bit more. And at that point, Zeke was the second back and he was still getting some carries in the game, but he then went to Jerry and complained about not getting enough snaps to the point to where Jerry Jones had to come on a radio station and say some foolishness as far as trying to save Zeke for later in the season. But now we really know the truth. The truth is Zeke hasn't been a happy camper in that Cowboys locker room, and he's been causing some issues, and it's been rubbing people the wrong way. He's at least rubbed a couple of people the wrong way in positions of power. Otherwise, he wouldn't have got this 1-game suspension, which is essentially what it is, y'all. It's a team-imposed suspension. He's not traveling with the team, and they're not going to play him for a full game simply for disciplinary reasons. It's a suspension. So at this point, you have to ask yourself the question, and then I have to apply Mike McCarthy right here because I've been asking him to do something that shows he's done playing games, something that shows, bro, hey man, this is my last year here. I'm just fired from the hip at this point. Do something. Work in your survival mindset, bro. I need Mike McCarthy to show something. And leaving one of the biggest name players, one of the highest profile players on the Dallas Cowboys back home for disciplinary reasons, I guess to set an example almost, that's doing something, y'all. That's doing something. So now at this point, I'm excited to see how this is going to play out on the field. Are the Cowboys going to play inspired football? Are we going to see some lingering effects of what seems like a fractured locker room at this point on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, and kind of cross-pollinating on both sides as well, right? With Micah and Diggs and doing all that silly stuff on their podcast. But this is actually wild. I don't think anybody would have ever guessed that Zeke was going to receive a suspension from the Cowboys his second time back. When it was this big, huge, feel-good moment, it was all for the vibes and stuff. And now looking at this, it seems like he's bringing the wrong kind of vibes to the Cowboys locker room now. So I don't know, man. I don't know what this is about. And as fans, we can take this one of two ways. We can look at this as yet another bump that we have to hit on our rocky descent into rock bottom for the Cowboys. Or we can look at this as the team, the coaching staff, the team leadership trying to do something to right the ship before it's too late. As a Cowboys fan, I'm hoping this is something to right the ship, but I'm not going to let that affect my prediction for Sunday. I have no confidence in this team going into Sunday, especially against this high-powered Atlanta Falcons offense, especially with Trevon Diggs with that calf injury, and I just have no confidence. All right, so if we win, I'll be pleasantly surprised. But this has gotten ridiculous. This is probably the most tumultuous season that I've watched the Dallas Cowboys go through in years, y'all. And this is easily the most tumultuous Dak Prescott here. The whole time he's been here, this is easily the worst season as far as just like distractions and drama and this outside noise and self-inflicted wounds and guys wanting to be celebrities more than football players and all that. This is just a whole clusterfuck at this point, y'all. So I don't know what this is about. Let me know down in the comments below what your best guesses are as far as why Ezekiel Elliott was suspended. I'm willing to bet that he was probably left behind for disciplinary reasons because he didn't like whatever the game plan was. Dalvin Cook and Rico were going to be active this week. He knew that he was going to be the third running back on the depth chart, and I'm willing to bet he spazzed out on Mike McCarthy. I'm willing to bet it went like that. I'm just saying, bro. Or the running back coach. I'm willing to bet that's how that went. And the team saw that as him not being a good team player because he's not trying to support his fellow running backs, and instead he's upset because he's not getting any burn, right? I'm willing to bet, if anything, that's what the situation was. And if that's the case, if Ezekiel Elliott is out there pouting in the locker room and stuff when the Cowboys are trying to throw stuff at the board to get something to work, y'all might as well cut ties with Zeke too, bro. At this point, it's just getting very difficult to root for these guys, to root for this group of Cowboys, like from a individual standpoint, across the board, looking at these guys, outside of a couple of dudes here and there, the Jordan Lewises, the Dak Prescotts, the Hunter Lepkes, outside of a few of these dudes, it's just getting very, very difficult to want to root for a lot of the players on our team. And that's something I didn't think I would be saying going into week 9 of this season. But either way, we still same old Cowboys. Zeke got suspended.
Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still the boy? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still them boys. Hey! Woo! Oh, shut up, my boy. Hey! I'm still them boys.